Hello everyone, today is May 25th, 2011, and thanks for joining me here on the Moneybag 73 channel. This is my 100th video y quiero dedicar este video a Hugo Salinas Price, un billonario de México que ha estado tratando de monetizar plata en México por más de 15 años y en una entrevista recientemente dijo en King World News que está muy probable que va a pasar este año. So with that said, I'm going to put links below. He did an excellent interview with King World News where I never heard him sound so positive in having silver monetized in Mexico. He said it's very probable. And he recently did a few interviews. I'm going to link below one he did with the Daily Bell and one he did with King World News. I also wanted to mention he did I don't remember when this was, but I saw a video with him being interviewed by James Turk, the founder of Gold Money. And it just sounded so good, listening to those two men discuss precious metals and silver and just so much common sense, just things ringing true, just not like it's just like listening to a violin, just sweet music, very relaxing. Listen to these two men. There's nothing that kind of goes, what are you talking about? Everything just not that I believe 100% of what they're saying, but just so much of what they're saying just sounds good. It sounds right and true. Not like when I'm listening to Geithner or Bernanke. I mean, that sounds like my kid banging some pots and pans. It's like, strong dollar policy and strong dollars in the Americans' best interest. Okay, Bernanke, then why in the hell are you printing that? Printing the F out of it. You're just printing so much money. It's in our best interest, but you're just printing trillions of dollars. It makes no sense. I try not to listen to those guys. I mean, you have to listen to them because it's kind of like comedic relief. But anyway, we know what's really going on. People that watch this channel know what's really happening. They know that paper money always collapses, just like it did in Argentina. 2001, those people thought they had value in the bank. They thought they had money. They thought they had whatever, 50,000, 60,000. And when Argentina collapsed, there was no one there to bail out their banks. So the banks closed, and they go to the banks, like the doors are locked. They're like, I don't have any money anymore. That was devastating what happened to those people. Now, if those people had silver, Argentina means land of silver. I did a video on, it's called Name That Keynesian show, where the president of the central bank there in Argentina, she's doing just what was done back then. She's talking about increasing the money supply, but this won't cause inflation. I mean, come on. That video is pretty funny if you haven't seen that. But those poor people, they lost it all. And it's happened in Mexico where they had a depreciation overnight, and then you don't have what you thought you had. Your wealth is just wiped away. People don't think that can happen here in the United States. Well, they need to wake up because we're 68 days away from default. And I don't think we're going to default, but they'll pull some strings right in the end. But they're raiding the retirement account funds right now. They're not even funding retirement. The thrift savings plan and the other one for the government retirement, they stopped funding those. I mean, people are still going to get their checks, but they stopped putting money towards that, so to get us through 11 weeks, Geithner said, until we start defaulting. I mean, that should be like man on the moon type news. I mean, there's huge things happening right now, and we need to protect ourselves with real money. We can't rely on this paper stuff. That's what's caused all these problems. In one of the interviews, Mr. Hugo was saying that what's causing all these problems was we moved away from sound money, and the whole world's gone on paper, And by the whole world going on paper, it's caused all these booms and bust cycle. This whole boom bust, that's what central banks do. They manipulate interest rates, they inflate the currency, they cause all these booms and then it busts. That's what's been going on. And people don't have a way of preserving their wealth. They used to, but they don't. So this is his idea. And I think it's an excellent idea. And I hope it happens. And if you listen to the King World News interview with Hugo Salinas Price, I never heard him sound so optimistic. He's saying that when the Congress comes back into session in September in Mexico, there's a very good chance that they might monetize silver. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to back their currency with silver. It means that this Silver Libertad, which is 1 ounce, 0.999 fine, would circulate alongside paper money and be an alternate currency that could compete with the paper money. And you could save this. And, people would probably just do that, save it. But it would be legal tender. They could actually, they'd have a little lifeboat if their family had an emergency and they needed some money, fix the car or whatever, something outside of their normal expenditures. And they could take some of these coins and use them for whatever they needed to. Well, here's 50 cents, half a peso in 1943 and a half a peso in 1917. This is the 1917 here. You used to get a lot more silver in half a peso. That's what happened right there over like 30-year period. Here's a 1 peso coin. And right here we have 5. This is 72% pure silver. Right here, this one. This is 5 pesos. Well, as you go on down the line, we get 10 pesos here. And by 1977, you got 100 pesos for this. Well, a coin this size is 1 peso for 100 of these fit into here? I don't think so. That's how much they were taking away, real money, taken away from the citizens. They just keep depreciating it. Same thing here with our 90% silver. And this stuff, it all has 10, 10, 50, 100 pesos. It has these numbers. And so when the silver value goes above it, people start hoarding these. They go out of circulation. And now, there's no silver there. I've been doing so much thinking about this. A peso in Spanish means weight. Just like a lira is a measure of weight. And a pound, the pound over in England. So everything used to be measured in weight. Well, people don't know weights anymore. They sell things in dollars. How many dollars is this? Even in Mexico or in South America, they know what dollars are, the reserve currency of the world. They know how many dollars things cost. We need to get back to learning what weight things are, not paper, not how much paper. Paper doesn't have any value, or electronic digits. That stuff, all that funny money, that's what's caused all these booms and busts. The central banks, that's what they do. They print money, they inflate the currency, they dilute it, and they cause all these booms and busts. They mess with the interest rates. We need sound money. We have to have sound money, and I'm such a proponent of what he's trying to. I think once I found out about him, I thought, what a great thing that is. I mean, we have the whole world is on paper money. If all this comes crashing down, civilization is going to totally change as we know it. We need to start instituting in sound money now. This has to happen. Utah made gold and silver legal tender. They're the first state of like 12 states that are thinking about doing it in the United States. This would be a good idea to do in the United States, to have our coin, this coin here, the American Silver Eagle. This coin could run alongside the US dollar, and people could save in this coin. It could be worth, 1 ounce. This 1 ounce coin would be worth, right now it's worth like $38, but there's a premium on it. Go for like 43. But you have to be able to save in something that has intrinsic value, not the paper money. That's the whole problem. So I had a quote here I wanted to talk about. This guy that, they were talking about, I think it was Fox News, they were talking about Utah and what they did. And this guy Here, he's the Carlos Sanchez, Director of Commodities Management for the CPM Group in New York. His comment was, we'd be going backwards in financial development if we were to go back to using gold and silver. You know, these are archaic relics, like Keynes said. And what backs currency is confidence in a government's ability to pay debts, its government system, and its economy. Well, hello, Mr. Sanchez. Is anybody home? We're 68 days away from default. You know, the U.S., how much confidence is that in the U.S. dollar? You know, countries, they don't want the dollar. They're starting to turn away from the dollar. That's why central banks like everything's made in China. Made in China. Oh, where's this mouse made? Oh, made in China, my mouse. Everything's made in China. Well, what's China get? A bunch of paper money from around the world for all the stuff that they produce. And so they have all this paper money, and they see what's coming. They see this whole paper bubble, the biggest bubble in the world right now. Currency markets around the world. It's the biggest bubble that hasn't popped yet. So they're ready for this. Well, let me retract that. They're not ready for this. They're getting ready for this. That's why they're accumulating so much gold and silver. Their central bank has said they need to accumulate as much gold and silver as they can. They want to go from 1,000 tons up to 10,000 tons of gold. And I'm sure they used to be net exporters of silver. Well, they're importing a lot of silver. I've done videos on that. They're importing a lot of silver now. One last thing that I wanted to mention, I heard, I believe it was James Turk and Hugo Salinas Price were talking about, you know, if another generation goes by and we don't get silver back in, there's not going to be anyone alive who ever remembered silver even being used as much. It's just be something in the history books. And you know, we need to institute silver and gold back into, you know, as being legal tender, being money, like in the Constitution. What's supposed to be money, not this paper stuff by the central banks. So, you know, there are, like, sometimes I'll ask my wife, you know, if she'll pick something up, and she'll say, well, no tengo la plata para comprar cualquier cosa, whatever it is that I'm asking her. No tengo la plata means I don't have the silver. It sounds so funny to me when my wife says, I don't have the silver. To her, in her country of Peru, that she's saying, well, I don't have the money. But, you know, to me, when I hear plata, I think of silver. But that's how they say money in her country, because that is real money. And that, I believe I've heard like 140 countries use the same word for money is the same word for silver. It's real money. There's a whole class of people that don't even want to think this way. They don't want to think of metal as being money because it's limiting. And that's the great thing about it. It limits politicians. They can't just create money out of nothing and make promises that they can't pay for and then print the money up. And, you know, basically buy their job, keep buying their job with money, just printing up money. They love it. They love the fiat money system. You know, the Constitution was not created to restrain the people. It was created to restrain government. And the way to restrain government is to have something that we can have that's not going to lose all of its value through inflation like the US dollar. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to you soon. Bye.